It's really not the weapons that are dangerous. It's the people you have to worry about.
Welcome to Heartland Arms. My name is Michael, and you're here where skill, safety, and training all come together. And today we're going a little bigger. We've gone through a lot of firearms. We've gone through a lot of handguns. But let's go to the table now. We are going to go over lever-action firearms today, okay? So we're going to cover what is a lever action. If you've watched any westerns, you've probably seen a lever action. Hunting camps, maybe even on the range, you never know when you run into one of these, okay? So a lever action is an action of a firearm, okay? So usually it's located the operating, and let's go to the front here so we can see it. Now, this that I'm holding is, you can see it's very, very light. This is actually a BB gun, okay? Just a little BB gun. Yes, they do have these in, it's a little daisy. And then I have this is a real one here. So we're good there. And like I said, every firearm is always unloaded. But a lever action is just an action on a gun, okay? So it generally, let me switch over here and let's go to the big camera here. This is a lever action. So if you notice when you hold it, that's where you're holding it, right? So lever action is usually located behind the guard or underneath the guard here. So you have your trigger guard. It's a lot different on some of these. So if you see how that's a lot bigger. That's what happens there. So in order to operate this, and because this is an air rifle, it's kind of hard to do on this. It's a little bit more. That's cocking it. Now, this is unloaded. Even a BB gun I have unloaded. In fact, when I pulled this out, it was loaded. First thing you do is unload it. I even unload BB guns. I don't need an accident to happen. I don't want to hit that thing and I'll shoot my eye out. Not going to happen. So, stock up against there. If you notice, my finger's off the trigger still. When you're aiming, you have your sights. Pull the trigger. You're not going to hear anything, and you don't hear any, you'll hear the air burst out of this, but that's all you're going to hear. Okay, so let's go back to the front here. Just so you see it, and if you notice, we have a wider view here now too. So I'm gonna kick this up, just like it's hard to see some of them on the black mat, but that's what we're looking at. This is the big boy here. That's the motion that you're going to do that. So you generally what you do is it loads the round. It'll eject the spent casing in there. It'll load the next round, it cocks the hammer, and then it goes from there. Okay? So I'm gonna show you on a real one here. Let's go. Now this one, that's opening. Let's go to the top here. So you have this opened up. This will tell you, now I don't have a round in here. Keep them unloaded. But that cocking this down opens up this chamber and shows me that if there's something in here that's loaded, it would have a bullet there in that top, and by closing that, it closes the cylinder, and then this, going back over to the other camera, would be ready to fire. So you go right through there. You load it through here, and this tube underneath the barrel is how you load it, okay? Though this, just like that. That's how, it's that quick. So if I would fire, load, eject, new round, eject, new round. That's the action that I have to do. So I pull the trigger, it fires a round. Eject, reload, pull the trigger. Eject, reload, pull the trigger. That's how this works. Now, It's very, very simple to use. Okay, very easy, very, very nice to use. It's mechanically reliable. They use these for a lot. Now, you will see some of these models that have a huge lever right here. Some of the old westerns, they used to be able to spin the firearms to do that. This is a very simple model, but that's also depending on if you're on a ranch and you have gloves on because you're riding horses and stuff like that. They make models that are designed for glove use. Now, if you notice that I've racked this, the hammer's back. So this one has a hammer. Let's go to the front here. So here's your hammer. So to drop that hammer, I'm holding the hammer to go forward, but you see the hammer right there? You can see it right there. That's the hammer. So when you do this, see how that cylinder drives the hammer back and goes forward, and you pull the trigger and it will drop the hammer. Okay, so let's go back to me again. I'm going to show that one more time because you can see it a little better on this one here. So see how that port comes back? That pushes the hammer back. Okay, that's cocking the hammer. It's ejecting the round, coming back, seating the new round in there, ready to fire. Pull the trigger, drops the hammer, fires, rinse, repeat. That's the way that works. Very, very simple, right? So we have really basics on here too. Okay, we've gone through this all over. Barrel. Let me switch this out here. Let's go down to the front one here. So barrel, right? Receiver, which is where it's going to house the bolt and the feeding mechanism. Let me switch over to this one again. So you have, go back up to me here. Let's see. And I'm going to hold it here. So you have your receiver. You have your lever. Okay. You have your hammer. You have your trigger. You have your magazine tube that goes underneath this wooden stock that goes all right through here. Okay. You have your loading gate or your port. It's generally right underneath where the chamber is. So and you just kind of push in and just load the firearm that way. Then you have your stock and your forearm. So stock, forearm. This is how you're going to hold this, okay? This is the way it goes, right like that. Now notice I'm always going to be in a safe position. If you've noticed that a lot of times, especially with rifles, I'm going to hold them like this, okay? Every once in a while I'm showing something, I will do it like this. And when I'm doing it, in fact, actually, my mic is right here to me. That's also why my camera's over here, but my mic's over here, so I'm projecting my voice to the mic. And I'm actually I use that mic as a good target for pointing stuff at. I'm not going to shoot my mic, especially when I make sure I follow those rules and make sure that I'm always unloaded. But if I destroy a mic, that means I haven't followed those 4 rules. But I'm pointing it in a safe direction. That's what I'm going to do. I also like kind of aiming this way because it gives you a good side profile of most of the firearms that you're going to shoot. I can do it this way, but to be honest, my house is that way. Is it a safe direction? Yes, because it's a brick wall and there's nothing there. But this way I know is yard and I don't have to do anything. So when I sit and I'm doing, I'm sitting like this, and if you notice my hand is not going to be on that trigger, even when I have this in here like that, my finger is always off the trigger. Keep that in mind. Okay? So all these pieces work the same way everything else does. It works very, very well that way. Now, it loads the magazine. That tube that holds the firearm gonna load the next round. You cycle a lever. That's kind of the way it works there. Now, there are some advantages to a lever action. Okay, so we're going to talk about where this lever action will shine. Okay, very, very fast follow-up shot. Is it as fast as a semi-automatic? No. But you can cycle really, really fast, really smooth, and a lot quicker than, say, a bolt action. Okay? It's a very, very slim profile. Okay? This makes it very easy to carry. There's not a whole lot of stuff done. Everything is underneath. It's very slim, so it makes it very easy to carry in tight spaces. I like it. It's a classic look. Okay, I like the wood. I like the way this goes through. It gives you kind of a historic feeling. It's just, there's just something about that just appeals to a classic firearm. Now, you can get these in pistol and rifle calibers, okay? So, now this one is a 357 38 special round. It says that on the barrel. So, it says that this can shoot a 357 Magnum and a 38 special, okay? If this just said I could shoot a 38 special, I do not, under any circumstances, want to try to shoot a 357 out of this. That's where you could get hurt. That's where you get in trouble. Make sure you're following what's written on here, manufacturer's standpoint, and making sure you're paying attention to what you're shooting, okay? Now, you could get them in 30-30, cowboy gun, 357 Magnum, 45-10. You could get them in a lot of different calibers, and they come in a BB gun too. So they're pretty nice. They're pretty easy. Now, generally, you have somewhat of a load limit here, okay? So these can generally, depending on what you're shooting, you're going to shoot either 5 to 10 rounds. Now, if you have a 22 lever action, you might be able to get 17 rounds. Smaller bullet. It also depends on the barrel size too. So this is considered a carbine. We're going to get into carbines and full-size rifles later, but this, because of the size of the barrel, you know, the tube, I don't want to have a tube that's way out to here and the barrel way back here, and you know, capacity is based off the tube. Okay, keep that in mind. Now, some of the things that you have to worry about is 5 to 10 rounds. Okay, you don't have that many rounds. Now, it's also slower reloads. Okay, so once you're done, there's no slapping a magazine in there. You have to one by one fill that port until it's loaded. Okay, and some of the modern versions are getting better, but having a scope on a lot of these, the optics aren't the best. Now, they're getting better. Some of the modern lever action, I've seen a couple of the tactical lever actions that allow you to get scopes and accessories and all that kind of stuff. They're out there. They exist. You're going to lose a little bit of that classic look, but you can do that. So this is just, I love a lever action. I hunted for this lever action for quite a while because I wanted one that was in 357 38. And I would have liked a little bit longer barrel, but you know, sometimes it's hard to find, and if you have a budget that you're saying I want to keep this into this budget, you have to get, you know, something that you like in that budget. It's not just a relic of the past. There's a lot of good still in this firearm. It's still used. Thousands of people use these, you know, still. They're simple to operate, very dependable in the field, and they're actually pretty enjoyable to shoot. I will tell you, my wife and my son have shot this firearm. I think this is the first lever action they shot, and I remember them shooting going, ooh, that was cool. There's just something about that that's really cool to shoot. So if you're training, you want to get accurate. If you're building your knowledge base to try and see different firearms, you have to appreciate the lever action. It's a really good gun. Now, if you like what we do, like what we say, if you have any opinions on any firearms, please put it in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us. It's, again, really hard to get this kind of content out to people, and we really want to make sure that we are training and educating people and giving them a good foundation into firearms so they can take that knowledge and get good, safe, and educated with these. So no matter your experience, keep learning, stay safe, and always be ready. Thanks for tuning in to Heartland Arms. We'll see you on the next episode.